going dark. Back from the dead is a miracle, doc. They counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family that bang in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday night CrossFit Talk. Carolyn Prevost and I are here tonight. Jamie is still on vacation in Cancun. She said she may pop in for 10 minutes here or there, but we don't know. We'll be as surprised as you. But she is really enjoying her time down there. And we're going to talk a little bit about her tonight. But yeah, it's been a crazy week. How have you been, Carolyn?
Been good. Yeah. Quick week going by really fast, actually. I feel like everything's just kind of after like that week of the open, like a little bit after you're kind of like looking at the leaderboard, just kind of recovering in terms like physically too, a little bit from the stress of the open. Even though it's not like stressful, it still is kind of an intensity that you haven't done it maybe as much in training. So it takes a couple days just to get back into the swing of things. So now I feel like I'm rolling, and here we are again doing another qualifier soon.
Yeah. So we'll talk. We're definitely going to get into detail on that. My week has been like a hamster wheel. So we start off with really good news. Julie no longer needs a cane.
That's amazing.
For like the first time since like 8 months before her surgery. She was using a cane all the way up, and then the surgery, and then now she just got rid of it, and she's really comfortable and she's really moving well with it. And even on dog walks now going without the cane. So that's been really nice and good for both of us to like get to do those again, that we haven't been able to do that in a long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's good news for sure.
And then my daughter on Wednesday found out she got the job in Montana. So she's moving from Pittsburgh to Montana in the next month. And I am driving out with her.
Oh, hey.
Oh, look at that.
I don't have super long. We're going to dinner really soon.
Well,
Nice.
that's awesome. How was Cancun?
It's good. Weather, can't complain. Weather's been absolutely gorgeous every day. Food's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. People are asking where you're at, and you are on vacation.
I am.
Do you want to come home?
I'm at,
or do you want to stay?
I need to come home and get back to working out. I feel disgusting. I'm at the Dreams Natura in Cancun. Yeah, it's been great.
Is there a gym at the hotel? Have you been able to go to a CrossFit gym, or are you just doing hotel stuff?
It's a resort. There's a gym here, but it's got like some dumbbells and some treadmills, basically. I did one day that I went and did dumbbell Kelsu, but that's essentially all I've done that I've been here was one day.
The body needs that break, though.
I don't know about right before the qualifier, but whatever. It is what it is.
Craig Pasley says just do 25.1 every day.
Yeah, if there was room in there, I would have done something more like that. There's not a lot of room in there.
So before we lose you, I was sitting at work, and I'm working away, and I just had Be Friendly Fitness on in the background, listening to them talk about the WFP qualifiers. And all of a sudden I hear this voice that is very, very familiar to me. And I turn, and there you are.
Yeah.
So I was shocked, and you were on there. Why?
Well, Brian messaged me like the night that the qualifiers finalized and was like, holy cow, great job. He's like, are you free? And I'm like, well, I'm on vacation. And he's like, I'll shoot you a message tomorrow for free if you want to hop on. And he's like, he said on there, to him, me qualifying was like one of the top 3 things impressive to him, which is nice to hear. So yeah, I mean, I like to get Brian some FaceTime every now and then.
And so if the viewers don't know, you at the age of 41 are one of the top 30 WFP qualifiers for the Challenger Series in Indianapolis. And you said on Be Friendly that it's close to you, so it may be the best option for you to go ahead and compete because it's really close.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we don't get a ton of opportunities to do live competitions as masters, really as anyone, like me and Carolyn knows, like how many decently close competitions do we get the opportunity to do anymore?
Not many. And like for me, I often have to travel. So if it's like flight wise, if to make it like an actual competition that's like worthy of my time and stuff like that. So if you have one that's close, and for you, like it's a good time because it's far enough from the Masters CrossFit Games. It just kind of gets your feet wet. You get to compete against an amazing field of athletes, you know, a better field than what you'll see at the Masters CrossFit Games. It will be. I mean, you look at those names in that Challenger division, like it's significantly better than what you'll get in your division at the Masters.
Yeah.
Like it's
you're not wrong.
A great experience, like of a comp for you, I think. I just
gotta not go get last.
You have some wheelhouse stuff though.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say, Carolyn. And you said on Be Friendly, you have your jams, and isn't it going to be fun to see how you stack up on those events against some of the elite athletes in the world?
100%.
Like you have no pressure. Like you're looking at competing against people that are honestly half your age.
Yeah.
I'm saying that nicely, but like it's true. You have girls like in their young 20s that are going to be there against you. You have nothing to lose, and like the pressure's on them really, and you get to have a great competition. I think that'll be great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm sure I speak for Carolyn. We are so proud of you that you did that. However, the fact that you said on Be Friendly, well, one of the reasons I made it was because Carolyn didn't compete.
That would have made it even closer, right?
So it was cool that you shouted out your co-host in the middle of that she would have probably taken one of those spots as well.
Yeah. Well, and then I see looking back on that, so when I looked the night when Brian messaged me, like I looked at like 9 or 10 p.m. and it supposedly closed at 8 p.m. and I was in 24th. And then when I got off with Brian, like, cause I couldn't really see the screen. It's way different on your phone when you're used to a computer. And then I see I'm in 29th. So I was like, what? And like, it's not because of any review yet. There's just like 5 other people who submitted, somehow got their score in.
It was 8 p.m. Central. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I was looking at like 10 p.m., which I'm in Central right now.
Oh, okay.
And I was looking at like 10 p.m. at night. So even like when I went to bed here in Cancun on Tuesday night, I was in 24th. So I don't know. It seems like there was a few people who somehow got their scores put in late. Like Lydia is one of the ones that I saw didn't have a score in for, I think like either for 0.1 or 0.2, like hadn't submitted a score. And then I see she's up there now. So there's clearly a few people who didn't, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
It could have been
a
leaderboard. It could have been like who knows?
Does it take time for the I can't remember on Competition Corner. Is it immediately when you post your score normally? I think that one's basically immediately, right?
I think that one's immediately.
Yeah, because the CrossFit Games one takes a little bit normally.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's way closer than I thought. Like seeing now that I'm in 29, holy cow.
Which one was your favorite workout? The burpee one?
I mean, like for me, like the first one's no pressure. Like I know it's going to be decent, just move. I feel like the second one should have been better for me, but I did that one so rushed. That was the first one I did when I was just like doing it for shits and giggles. And I was like, like I finished and was like, that was not my best performance, but I did not have time to redo that one. I think that second workout was the most, I think I said this on Brian, it's like the most well-rounded workout because it was very similar to the Masters workout that it did. So I think that was probably the best workout.
Did you redo any?
I had to redo. Veronica had no idea what was going on with the timing of workout 3. So basically she had me start at like a minute and 47 seconds of rest or a minute and 42 seconds. So I didn't even get a 2-minute rest. And then she stopped me like 30 seconds. So I only worked for like 4.5 minutes. It was a total shit show. So I was like, I could submit it. I didn't do myself any favors with the way we did it. I don't know if I would have gotten a penalty, but so Sunday before I left, I redid that one. I did not want to redo it, but oh well, redid it.
What order did you do them in?
I did 2, and then I did 3, and then I did 1 because I wanted 1 to be my last one. I just wanted to do it, and then I had to redo 3 on Sunday.
Larry Young, that makes it sound like you can win your age group easy. Well, she took 4th last year, so that means she could win anytime. Well, we think 3. Great opportunity to showcase your fitness. Jamie, you look sun-kissed and so relaxed. Love the dress.
Thank you, Nicole.
And yes, Kenneth, it is 8 p.m. Eastern already. So the other thing that was cool, you guys keep getting your flowers. I'm going to share this real quick. If I can find it. I have so many windows. You guys were featured on a CrossFit Games post talking about the 2025 age group CrossFit Open winners. And there's our very own Carolyn Prevost right there pictured on the left-hand side of the sheet. And both Carolyn and Jamie are listed as winners in their respective divisions. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
Do you guys get surprised when when these things pop up online?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, what was I tagged in? And then you open it and you're like, oh, that was nice.
I don't think I was tagged, but I just saw my picture in the background. I was like, whoa, what is that?
You weren't tagged?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, gosh.
So I just like was scrolling on my the home page and then I see it and I was like, oh, cool. Sure.
Yeah. Keeping it real. Carolyn, Jamie, JR, some people in the media world crushing. Yeah,
doing our best.
Pretty awesome. Well, I'm taking it you did not watch the last episode of Reacher while in Cancun.
No, I have not. Not caught up on anything.
I've already asked about it in the chat, but I'll wait till you're back to talk about it.
Okay.
The one thing, though, I did have to ask Carolyn before we get into a lot of the CrossFit stuff, and you can hang on for this if you can. I was watching Top Chef this week. It's one of my guilty pleasures, and they're in Canada. They're in Toronto this year for their season. And the quickfire on this night was, or not quickfire, the elimination was they took hockey terms. You had to pick and stand behind each one, and then it would relate to a food. So like you stand behind puck, you take off the cover and it's a biscuit, right? Because a puck can be called a biscuit. And they went through that. But they featured 2 women's pro hockey players.
Nice.
Natalie Spooner and Sarah Nurse. Do you know those 2 women?
Yeah, I played with both of them.
So it was really cool that they're getting publicity on Top Chef this season. And they got to be there for the tasting and judging at the end. And it was really cool. They really represented the league well. But they made like a little mini rink, and they put a table in the middle of it to eat. And the challenge was you took these ingredients, and they had to be served cold because they're on ice, right?
Awesome.
But it was fun. It was really fun.
I'll have to talk the food was good.
So that reminds me, and if I see this girl, I didn't get her name. I don't know why. I had been drinking. But so a girl was talking to me in the pool, And I don't know how we got to talking what we're talking about, but she said she's from Canada. There's a bunch of people here from Canada. And then she's like,
We all
I
know
played
Canada.
Yeah. She's like, I played hockey at Ohio State University. And I was like, well, I do this podcast with a woman who played hockey for Wisconsin. And she's like, what's her name? And I said her name. She's like, oh, I know her. So if I see her, I got to get her name.
Yeah.
And tell you who it is. It's such a small world.
Yeah. Well, like women's sports in general is like small world. And then the hockey world itself is like, you just start knowing from the different teams.
It's so funny because the minute they brought out these pro hockey players, I was like, immediately, does Carolyn know them? She has to know them, right? Because the women's league is pretty small, right? You don't have a ton of teams yet.
There's 6 teams, and I've probably played with or against 3/4 of the players.
Yeah.
So it's only maybe a 25% that I just missed out in the last year not playing against them. Like the ones that are coming from university from last year. But yeah, so I would know most of them, or I know of them. Like I watch like almost every single one of the games. I listen to all of their podcasts and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan still.
Ken's trying to throw out hockey terms. Gino, apple, twig, chirp. They did use apple for an
Cheddar. Yeah.
They peanut butter for a goal that gets stuck in the net.
Huh.
I'd never heard of that one.
Top cheese.
I'm trying to think of what else they had. They had muffin for like a weak shot.
Yeah, when you kind of fan on the shot, yeah, you call it a muffin.
They had grapefruit for an easy miss for the goalie, like a save they should have had.
Yeah,
a grapefruit. So that's what they did, and of course these chefs
That's
had
clever.
no clue about the hockey terms, so they had no idea what they were getting into. And then the tape job on a hockey stick, licorice.
Yeah, or that one's more like around the shaft. People.
Okay, yeah, they had to do licorice, anise in their food. So yeah, it was fun. It was really a cool concept. But yeah, that's all I have on that. I think so. With that, we can get into some stuff. I did want to show this one thing. John Young and I, and his dad's in the chat, and I don't mean to, but we have had a battle about the Panchek brothers, Saxon in particular, and you never know who's listening to a podcast when you're making comments about a family. And if you have not seen this, I'm going to share this real quick. And because I've been a Saxon backer for a long time, I am going to. Here we go. This appeared on the Barbell Spin Instagram, and I will play this and try to get the sound on.
Can't talk this bad about somebody if I'm not willing to face the music. So if this is the real Scott Panchik, I'm gonna treat it like it is. Yeah, I get it. If y'all don't like me 100%, I get it. I get it a lot. Also, my family has not accomplished what your family has accomplished. You would not be on a podcast talking about my family. Listen, Scott,
hey,
Scott, I'm doing the grid league, Scott.
What are you doing? What are you doing in June and July, Scott?
Yeah.
If Scott came on your team,
Hey,
that would
or you know, hit up
game changer.
Saxon. Hit up Saxon. You know he's not doing the games.
So he goes on to, and he does not apologize. He leans into it more. And then Scott comes in later and says that he's signing up for the rival of the Houston Grid League team.
Nice.
To take on John. But when I saw that, I was howling because John has dogged the Pancheks forever. And when Scott came in and said, if I talked about John's family the way he talks about mine, perfect. And you never know who's listening to you, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Carolyn, on that? Or
No, I mean, It is what it is. I don't know what he said about the family though, but maybe some ranking stuff, or
Well,
did he say?
I know in my cases with him, I picked Saxon as like a dark horse to do well at semifinals last year, and he said he has no shot, blah, 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 you know. So anyway, and we actually had this later in the rundown, but Colton has announced that he is doing the grid league on the Houston team for at least 2 matches in like June, I think.
Wow. He'll be excellent at that.
Well, I think it's great for Colton, and it's probably great for the grid league, right?
Yes.
The more exposure Colton gets to different audiences, I think the better for his brand. And he's not someone that would go around and say, I have a brand, but you know, he's turned into a cult hero, a celebrity in the sport. And the more people that see that and see the way he goes about business, I think the better for him.
I liked his last post of trolling Hopper too.
Oh man, that has
Social media.
I just randomly opened up Instagram and had Hopper's, I don't know, trash talking clean video. I don't even know what that was. I was like, what is happening? What did I miss?
Did you see Colton's response?
Him like sitting in a chair, like, what's good on on Instagram today? And he's like, that's enough Instagram.
Yeah. He just plays the game so well.
He does.
He really does. It was really funny. But I actually I was thinking that with Colton going to grid and doing a couple matches and like Tia doing high rocks, why can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
It's all fitness, right?
Yep.
And
it's all complementary to CrossFit because it's variations of CrossFit is
right.
What it is.
And the more we work together, the better off all three will be. Instead of fighting with each other.
Yeah, it should just go train an affiliate and you can compete at these high rocks events and this is what's going on in grid, and we should be like essentially helping feed the affiliates in the gyms because those are the spaces that people need to train versus a global gym. Like everything's there.
Right. It could really benefit every piece of it.
For sure.
Because most of the grid league players are started in an affiliate, right? They started doing CrossFit and then they got recruited to do this thing because they're really good at one thing or really, I don't know.
Yeah, they're specialists.
Clunnies regularly learn and play new sports. Yeah, get back to the pyramid, right? That's the tip of the pyramid. Get outside the gym, do other things. My gosh, Carolyn's played every sport under the sun. And she's a better athlete for it. So Ken, if there's no fighting, then there goes all the podcasts, not much content.
Yeah.
Well, we could still talk about who's going to win events and who's doing well and actually do analysis. Denise is going to go play pickleball.
That is a fun sport.
It is fun.
And I guess Brent's been making the rounds. So,
well, he was at Mayhem. He's at the Proven one. I think he's just like in the Nashville or Tennessee area.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to be at the Classic, Mayhem Classic this week. Like, why not be
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. Is he still sort of working with Shelby?
So
I know they weren't
my understanding that it was his coaches working with Shelby.
Yeah, but I feel like she said she could talk to him, and get maybe he's more willing to take on that role if he isn't competing anymore. I don't know.
I think if you're representing the athletes, you shouldn't.
That's true.
And you shouldn't
Yeah.
be a player. Like, I think him retiring was the best thing for the PFAA because then there's no conflict of interest. But I don't know.
Yeah.
There is no point in having all this fitness if all you do is work out in a gym. Larry says, if you guys think John was rough on the Pancheks fitness, you should see what he says about me. Family's always the worst.
At least you can be honest with your family.
Craig says Shelby is HWPO.
When did that happen?
I did not see that.
I have not seen that either. Is he question?
Oh, go ahead.
I see there's a question mark. So is he questioning whether Shelby's HWPO?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
I know she like hangs out with the EMOM group, but it's not really a camp. They just kind of hang out and do weekends together. And Andrew Hiller confirms it's wrong. She is not
okay.
WPO.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm pretty sure she's still with Brent's coaches.
Yeah.
They have like a group name. So
all right.
Anyway.
All right.
So,
I'm losing light.
Yeah, you are. It's getting dark in Mexico.
Yep. It is. All right. I'm gonna let you guys go.
Okay, sounds good. Have fun.
A good dinner.
You fly back tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye, guys.
All right. It's not letting me kick her out. Okay. So
We'll have a frozen screen like the boys uninterrupted. What is their podcast?
Yeah, Boys Interrupted.
Boys Interrupted.
There was two James.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the world is not ready for two James. There we go.
There you
go. The next thing I was going to talk about is Crash Crescendo, which happened this weekend. And it's really the only time that, well, I think Syndicate Crown, they get to come as a team as well, but it's one of the few times the teams actually get to compete in person this year. And so there were some elite teams that competed, and I will pull up their Instagram that showed the podium of that.
The Mayhem team won, right?
Correct. So this is the podium. And so the first place team, whoop, that is not them. I don't know where I'm at now. Shoot, went to the wrong one. Let me back this out.
Did they broadcast it at all this year?
I did not see anything anywhere.
I didn't see anything about it. That's why I just saw the one picture. Sorry.
There we go.
Okay, here's the one podium picture, and that was it. I hadn't heard about it all weekend, really.
So Mayhem won, and that's Angelo and Amali and Sam, and I can never remember her name. It's in my notes, but I can't see it. Hold on. Zoe, Sam DeMeester, Zoe Jones, Molly McGrandy, and Angelo DeChico. Then we have in second place was the Imam Company, which was the Franco's group in the open, and that's Hannah Hardy, Samantha Pugh, Josh Matz, and Jordan Kerr. They're on the left, and I'll try to move that over. I've got too many screens open. And then, so that is this team over here. Then on the right, we have the third place team, which is CrossFit Motown. And I know that it is, wow, that is not working well. It is Caroline Klutz and Stevie Dellinger, Stevie Dellinger and Caroline Klutz, but I do not know who the two men are. And nothing is tagged in any of the photos to tell that. and none of the previews had this team even near the podium. So,
well, those two girls are really good though. Like they're masters athletes, but they're fit, very very good.
really good.
So that's not surprising that they would do a lot. But I don't know the depth of the teams there. How do the teams qualify to the games this year? Is it just through the online semis, or is there any spots in person?
It's online semis only.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's what I said in like our notes. Like, are we phasing team out with CrossFit? By not having anything in person, it really makes it hard for it to gain any traction at all. And it just seems like they're giving up by making it an online thing the whole way until you get to the games.
Yeah, because like if like people were barely watching it before, I mean, they'd watch it because of Rich's team and to see either them win or they were rooting for other teams to see them go down, right? Like Rich brought a lot of eyes to the teams. But if they're not going to showcase anything prior to just them being at the CrossFit Games, it's it's just like a filler time basically at the games is what it is.
Yeah.
Like for the fans that'll like the real fans will like be excited to watch, but I don't know. I feel like it's definitely phasing.
Andrew Sten asked the question, teams go in the way of the age groups and adaptive and eventually move away from individual.
I could see that, but yeah.
I heard Dave say like before the games last year, so that seems like another lifetime. But he said that eventually he would like to have the teams and individual 2 different seasons where athletes could compete in both.
I mean, you would want to see like the top teams, but it would be the same people. But so the thing about having the teams at the same time is it allows more athletes in the space to dream about going to the CrossFit Games. If you all of a sudden just make it where it'll be actually the best teams in the world, where like the individual athletes will team up and train together and like for the teams, I just think it's going to kill the hope of like a lot of athletes that just like will give up. And I think that, you know, if you want more people to spend on CrossFit, like those local comps and the sport, like I think people just going together on a team and competing locally and regionally like that grows the sport a lot more. But
yeah,
you'd have better teams though for sure. I think that the teams just need something new, like a new flavor, like teams of, I don't know if it's teams of 3, if it's kind of like that tier Wadapalooza SoCal format that we saw. But just maybe, I just think it needs something different. And maybe that's what needs to happen to the teams, like every however many years, like teams of 6, then it goes back to teams of 4, then you kind of get bored of that and what you can do with teams of 4. So you need to change it up, but it's just blah.
So I think, and I'm going off on a tangent here a little bit, but if you remember back in the regional days, teams were big because the regional competitions were close enough to many of those affiliates where people could come and watch their affiliate team compete. And it would get loud for teams. Like I know here in Columbus, like we would have Friendship CrossFit and CrossFit Grandview and Polaris there, and they hated each other at those events, and it would get loud and it would get boisterous. And in order to have a vested interest in a team, you have to create some kind of connection. And so I think that Clooney's has the best thing. Like we need to do national teams, not regional teams. People would definitely watch that. And I think they would. You could have USA 1, USA 2, and USA 3. You could have Europe 1, Europe 2, Europe 3, or whatever. Or even individual countries. You could have France and Italy. Or
you have like in the hockey world, sometimes they have like the under 22s and the under whatever. And you have some like up and comers, like the rookies type thing, make a team. Yeah, I think that would be way better. And it kind of brings back the invitational like ideas that they had before, but just make it a little bit bigger I
You
think that
could
would
do
be
it at the
really
games
cool.
though, and it would be insane.
Yeah, I think people would get behind that because regardless of whether you would know what's happening, you have an interest in rooting for your country or certain, yeah, like basically your country and stuff. I think that would really work.
Yeah, I I really think that is probably the answer for teams going forward, and it's a way to develop young talent and get them out on the floor, and they're representing their country. And they tried to do that in 2019 with individuals where it was more about your country, because if you won your country's thing, you got to come to the games, and it was more Olympic and this big pomp and circumstance. It only had 1 year to try it out before COVID, and then it went away. And I'm not saying that that's the answer, letting everybody come again, but adding nationality to this sport will make people have a more vested interest in who wins. I mean, you and I scrap about the Canada USA hockey game, and right? Because we have pride in the countries we grew up in. Do you like Hockey World Cup? Have pool play before you get to the final 8 to a tournament format, country versus country matches.
See, I've seen comps do like the head-to-head matches, and I just like, as much as I love it for other sports, it doesn't really fall under our sport because we're not about like a one workout elimination style, because it's about which team is the fittest, and that's why I don't like the cuts, because when you have cuts in events, like, you have to be able to do the whole test, and then it's who is the best, because it just so happens that you pick, you could have one and number 2 play against each other, and that's cool for regular sports, but not in this. I don't think it works in the sport of fitness to have elimination styles like that.
Yeah, but you could have like a regionals level, like a semifinals, where you're the teams that make it out of Europe, you're the teams that make it out of the US, you're the teams that make it out of Australia.
Yeah, as long as you go through like your whole workouts, and then it's like, okay, these are the qualifying teams to there, and it's like before. Yeah.
There, we solved that. The next thing that came out this week, and we'll just make this a quick hitter, that is the broadcast team was announced for WFP. It is, I like Carolyn's idea of formatting it like Tier Cup, larger teams, but each event had different people from the teams competing. I don't dislike that.
Yeah.
The broadcast team, we talked about this briefly, but they've added more people to the list. And it is Jeremy Austin is the play-by-play. Tommy Marquez is the color. Gabby McGowan is the analyst. Lauren Smith will be sidelines for the elite and the challenger divisions. Amy Bream would be sidelined for the community events. I like Amy Bream on the sideline. I think they should give her more of an opportunity, and maybe they will. But she was great at the adaptive games. If you watch,
I like the whole cast looks very good. I think it's gonna be really good.
Then the studio show will be Derek Forrest, Annie Thorsdottir, Katrin David's daughter, and Seth Page. That was a little bit of a shocker for me.
Yeah, that one kind of got thrown up there, and I've obviously seen him on some of the podcasts talking about programming and stuff like that, and he's got a lot of experience in that department. So I think that's cool to have a new face and in the space or in this team.
I didn't know he was one of the creators of Misfit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so he goes back a long time. So yeah, I've heard, I've never been the biggest Katrin fan in the world, but she has been really good when she has been asked to analyze things at events. And I think that she will do an amazing job. Annie, I haven't heard her really get into the nuts and bolts of things, but she's a really good storyteller about stuff that's happened in the past. And maybe that's what her role will be with this group. And then I do like Seth as someone who looks at the nuts and bolts of programming and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good group to analyze. And Gabby too in there was surprised, but I'm happy that they've involved her into the season. Will be interesting to see her take on like the women's field and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then they've announced that they're going to do several translations of the broadcast. Spanish, French, Portuguese, German, Italian, Russian, Arabic, and South Korean.
Is that just with AI?
I believe it is. And I'm actually curious because you speak fluent French, right?
Yeah.
So if you'd like tuned into the French, you'd be able to know if the AI was accurate or not.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see what happens there.
I'm sure it'll be pretty accurate.
Okay. I just, and this is kind of a small tangent. I have a friend who's a college professor, and I asked her a long time ago, like, can you tell if students use AI to write a paper? And she said that the dialect is not correct. Like AI doesn't know the slang or the dialect of certain pieces of it, right? And so it becomes easier to know that it was done by not a human.
You can like enter it into different things to see how much percentage of their work is through AI. Like there's programs like that.
Yeah.
But it's tough to detect though. Like at school, like a lot of the language classes have like avoided using certain computers during work because people just literally put everything through Chat GPT and it just generates everything, all their ideas and like literally anything.
Yeah.
It's better for me in math because they just have math tests, so I guess they don't really have access to Chat GPT there. They could put their homework through it, but not really during tests. So
yeah. So the next thing is Emma Lawson is joining Brute. I watched a little bit of Dallin's video saying that they had a special guest in. But I have a really hard time just watching straight workout videos. And that's what that one was. I wanted something more like Boys Interrupted with Emma kind of hanging out, and I didn't get that. So it doesn't really tell you much about why or what, or they're just kind of working out together.
yeah, she basically just said that it was a young group that came up through like the teen CrossFit games, and they've done well, essentially balancing that transition in life. But yeah, she didn't speak very much like in depth about her decision and if she looked at else, like what other camp she looked at, and but I wasn't expecting her to get too deep into it in terms of
and if she's smart, she'll do it on her own podcast, right? Like get the views for yourself and not because I think people would tune in to hear why she picked them, and who knows. I mean, they've had a lot of success.
Oh, they certainly have. They've been the best camp really as of the last couple of years in terms of the quality of athletes they've brought to the games. Like not in terms of quantity, but just everyone's doing extremely well and excelling at that camp. So they're doing something well.
Ken Walters says universities have had for a while now to scan papers if plagiarism took place. My son's hockey team found out the hard way. Yeah. I was so afraid of plagiarism in college. So afraid. Like I footnoted so many. I probably over footnoted.
You had to. It was like if you're not sure, just cite it. Like
right.
That's how we were taught. Don't take a chance.
Yeah. All right. So this week is Mayhem Week. They have 2 spots for the games on the women's and men's side. Before we get into who you think is going to get the tickets and who's your dark horse, they put out a schedule, and I want to talk to you about this. So they really only have on Saturday a 3 to 8 p.m. window for the 3 events. And on Sunday, it is noon to 5:20. So they have really brought down the window in which the events are going to occur. And I've heard Rich say on his podcast before that we expect people to stay too long through the weekends to watch. And so they're really trying to compress it down to 2 days and 2 smaller windows to watch the events. 1, do you think that's the right way to go? And 2, do you think that we'll see that play out this coming weekend?
I actually like that better personally as an athlete. I find most of my training sessions are condensed like that anyways. And I think a lot of people's training sessions, they're able to do multiple WODs, not right back to back, but with a little bit less rest. I find it's hard sometimes having such a large gap between an event, bringing your body back down, having to re-warm up a bunch, and you almost get that soreness that just starts taking place because you're waiting so long. So I don't mind it for the viewer side. I think it's better as well too. You allow people to go visit the city and do other things too, because you're not just at an arena or a venue for the entire day. So I think it's more digestible in terms of a fan and to sell that broadcast as well. So I think that's a good move on them.
And for the stream purposes, for me, if they're not even starting till 3, I can go do something with Julie in the morning and then come back. And then if I sit down to watch some CrossFit, she's not going to be like, oh, you've done it all day. I haven't had you at all this weekend. Honestly, as a husband, it's going to make my life a whole lot easier that I'm not tuned in for an entire weekend and tuned out from her and the family.
Yeah, and people can get their workouts in early in the morning too, and then go enjoy the rest of the competition. They did, what they had to do for their own fitness.
Yeah. I'm excited. I hope it's successful and that they can put together a programming that gets the right people to the games, and they do it in 2 days and that short compressed window.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about them putting together a good programming to get the right two. I think it'll be a well-run event. And did you see that they added Sean Woodland as well too to their broadcast team?
I did not see it officially. I just saw Vi tell me.
Yeah, so they have Rich, they have Angelo, and they also have Sean calling the action.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
to
cool.
Keep the other 2 in line.
Yeah. They are off the chain with these videos that they're doing with the suit coats and shorts and the headgear, the headsets, with the real and fake workout announcements. We only have 1 official workout announcement.
2.
And do we have 2? I just checked at 2:00 today.
Well, Isabel.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Heavy Isabel. And then we have event 1, which is 3 rounds for time, 800-meter run, 20 burpee box get-overs at 48 inches, and 40 feed sack squats, 170.
40 feet or 20 squats or 40.
20 burpee box get-overs and 40 feed sack squats.
Oh, feed. I heard feet. Feed. Yeah, sorry.
Feed sack squats.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hard to say.
Yeah, it's that sandbag.
And it's an ode to the burden run.
Yeah, the only thing that's such an advantage for the athletes that are already there is it's because they say it's 750-ish. But the athletes that are there, I'm sure know exactly where that course is, and they're able to practice that terrain and know exactly the distance where it is. So there's definitely a home field advantage there for the athletes that know the course, the terrain, and everything. But that's a great first event. I think very classic Mayhem with the burpee box get-overs as well. Yeah,
total. It's funny because I was at the one and only Mayhem Classic in 2020. And I think they had the big burpee box get over there. They had the run But there was a trail run, and it was actually off-site when they did that. So that'll be interesting. I think the other thing that's interesting, and Denise brought this up, is wonder if they have any masters doing semis at Mayhem. Aren't they doing the comp at the gym? They are doing the comp at the gym, but because the athletes don't have to be there until I think there's a little bit of time if people want to do workouts in the morning. Yeah, it'd be early in the morning. Lynn, there's only one workout listed at this point, and it's what we just read to you, and it's on their Instagram. Now, there's a bunch of other kind of like fake outs of Rich doing memories past, but a couple of them have thrusters. They're not doing both of those. Talking about his 305-pound snatch, talking about the rope climb thruster workout at the games. But I think they're all kind of like faking until they make the formal announcement. Or just going down memory lane. Who knows? But it's weird they put it on the Mayhem Classic Instagram and not on the Mayhem or the Rich Instagram.
But I think it should go on the Mayhem Classic one because that's the event. Like that's the one you should be getting the info from versus you have to follow their actual affiliate or their programming page.
Yeah, I mean the memories with Rich that aren't really announcements of workouts. I think they're trying to build excitement and possibilities of what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a reason they condensed the window to make a time for masters. Could be. They also have that I'm assuming the extra piece is the warm-up area. And we talked about that. The barn is not the affiliate.
Well, I don't know. It could be an affiliate, but they've always done workouts in the barn, and every one of those athletes always wrote their workout as doing it from CrossFit Mayhem.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you can have two different affiliates with the same name, like two different locations.
Right. I don't think you can. I have got a little itch in my throat, trying to prevent it from getting to be a cough. So we're going to talk about who do we think is going to win the spots for the games. So I have a list of the men. I'll pull that up first. And then I will blow it up. So both are very deep fields, even though people are not there anymore and then they've replaced them. Both the men and women are very deep fields. I think the women is even deeper than the men. But we have Roman Krennikov, Jason Hopper, Guy Mijeros, James Sprague, Samuel Cornwallis, Fabian Benito Celis, Austin Hatfield, Nick Matthews, Spencer Panchek, Jack Farlow, Colton Mertens, Jorge Fernandez, Alex Vigneault, Jack Rosema, Luke Parker, Seth Stovall, Royce Dunn, Austin Rickhelme, George Sterner, and Cale Lehman. And Guy and Jack are ineligible to make it to the games. So I ask you, Carolyn, who are your two to get the tickets, and do you have a dark horse pick?
I think Hopper will get one. I think I'm trying to think of what's coming up. There's going to be
Lynn, only two can get tickets. And that math ain't mathin'.
I mean, the ones that are really in contention is Colton, Austin, James, Hopper, and Roman, pending like something crazy happen. It's hard to bet against Colton Mertens right now. Like, he's looking so good. You think that things that like he won't be as great at, and he's just filling those gaps and just proving everyone wrong for many different styles of workouts. I'll be interesting to see him do. I mean, like, the snatch one should be good for him. The running one, who knows? You know, with the high burpee get-overs, but like he's training those jumps all the time, and I feel like he'll still be fast with the burpees. Some sort of dense rope climb workout is going to be coming up. That's where he might struggle in terms of the taller athletes that just can pull to the top a little bit faster. I do like I like Hopper for most of these. I'm gonna still say Colton. I think that he's just looking too good right now. I don't want to bet against him. I'm gonna go Colton and Jason.
Yeah, my doubts with Colton are erasing by the day. So Vi actually read my paper. Hopper and Mertens will get the spot. My dark horse is George Sterner. I just think he's really come on strong in the open. He's got some momentum. He's got some confidence. And that's just my dark horse to make some noise. But Colton and Jason have been so good as of late. It's hard for me to pick anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know the programming yet. We know 2 of the events. And so without knowing the programming, that's who I'm going. The two people who have performed the best as recently. John Young, it's called the Hatfield Invitational for a reason. It is not called that, and I am not backing that. And then John
He
said,
he should do well. He's a good runner. He's very good. I mean, he trains with Mayhem. Strong. Like, I don't see anything kind of getting in the way of him qualifying here too. Like, could be an execution thing, which we have heard he had an issue with at the games, but 6 events, like, there's not much room for error, especially if it's going to be those same 5 athletes within the top of almost every workout. This is the type of field that there's not many middling. So if you have one bad event, it's hard to come back from. But when you have a bigger field, sometimes you have more people that can get in between. I just see those top 5 athletes really separating themselves early.
John says Spencer Panchek is my dark horse. That is not the case. But I know where you're coming from.
I think a Luke Parker, Jack Rosema could do well as a dark horse too.
Yeah. Now, if we go to the women, it's even worse, and I didn't even need to do that. So, shrink this down. The women this field is so deep. It is Danielle Brandon, Brooke Wells, Alexis Raptis, Emily Rolfe, Paige Semenza, Haley Adams, Mano Anganese, Christine Kohlenbrander, Claudia Gluck, Abigail Domit, Paige Powers, Caroline Stanley, Shelby Neal, Andrea Nisler, Fisa Gaffi, Nina Vrajovic, Victoria Campos, Lindsay Lane, Kira Miller, Hannah Black. And Paige Powers and Victoria Campos are not eligible to get games tickets.
I think Danielle Brandon's going to get a spot here.
John Young has a question. I think it's about the men. Maybe it's women. Do you think that sub 4 is possible on heavy, Isabel?
I haven't tested it. I mean, I wouldn't be a good tester for that, but not sure. I mean, you have Hannah Black in this field who can snatch 230. So if we're going to see it, I think we could see it at this semifinal here. Christine Kohlenbrenner is a great snatcher as well. There's a few in here that can definitely move some weight around. Maybe less so. A lot of fit athletes, not as much of the stronger girls.
Yeah.
In this field. Like, a lot of the gymnasts are in this field, which is good for Mayhem. because you look at this field and there's a lot of the Dingle Brands, Brooke Wells, Raptis, Rolf. Like that's gymnasts right there. Haley Adams, Gluck, like Shelby Neal, Fee.
Cole
Near.
and Brander could crush Isabel too. If she's healthy, if her back's healthy.
Yeah, in terms of the weights here for the snatch event, I mean, Andrea's pretty strong too.
Lynn says Alexis and Domit for her 2 spots.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like Dingle Brandon. I do like Alexis. And Domit was my third one here. I don't know where Haley Adams is in terms of her fitness right now. And because like in the open, she said that she wasn't as ready. Emily should do well, just needs to survive, I think, the Isabel one.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good field for her to go against on that one, if I'm being honest.
Tristan Patrick, maybe the girls, John, for the sub 4 on heavy Isabel.
Like I could see a Kerstetter if she was in the field with how well she moved that snatch at that semifinal last year. Maybe she can do it.
Is Kerstetter in the field?
No. I was just saying for a sub 4. Trying to think of the strong female athletes.
That girl is freakish when it comes to strength. And yeah. Larry Young says, yeah, John, I just did it.
Danielle has a really good snatching and mobility too. And you don't have to squat it, right? She should do well.
Yeah, my wow, I am so far behind on comments now. Lynn says you and her are always on the same wavelength. DB is her worst enemy. She always has one disaster, one workout, and then it's over.
Not always. I wouldn't say that.
She's won semifinals before. Like,
yeah.
It's only been at the games where things kind of so my picks are, I'm sure I'm going to take grief for this, Fee Sagafi and Alexis Raptis. Fee has been absolutely murdering everything. The WFP qualifier, the open. She just has a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence, and I think she's awesome, and I want to see her do well. So I'm picking Fee, and Alexis Raptis, I think, is also has found some relief for things that she was going through, and is going to see a big improvement coming into this season. And I really think she's going to do great from here on out. So I can't wait to see what she does at Mayhem.
Yeah, I think she's looking awesome right now. I'll go with Danielle and Alexis as my picks.
And then my dark horse is Shelby Neal. She's just all around a great athlete in this thing. And I think we forget about her sometimes, and she's definitely going to be in contention. Whether she gets a spot, I don't know, but I think she's going to be at least talked about in the end. So, well, that is the Mayhem preview. I'm excited just to watch some CrossFit this weekend. It's going to be fun.
Same.
So age group semifinals are this weekend as well. Well, we've talked about that briefly. All information is to be released tomorrow by email to the athletes. A rumor is that the workouts will be included as part of that package. So you'll have a couple days to think about your strategy. Both Carolyn and Jamie are qualified athletes and will be performing these workouts. So we'll get some feedback with that. And did you see that at least one athlete got drug tested out of competition in the Masters division this week?
I did see that.
So Jason Grubb was tested this week. So we do know it is a possibility. We'll see. Denise Moore, who I forgot, I neglected to mention, she was on that graphic way back in the beginning of the show as winners, age group winners. But she's biting her nails.
I just wonder for the online how difficult it's been for certain peoples to like find judges or affiliates, like because like you need both judges to have their L1, their judges course, their advanced judges course, and like you're on two people's schedules, and like if you want to be redoing workouts, like you have to have those people kind of available. So like I mean I have mine to, I can't be my own secondary judge obviously, but like if there's other people in the area and stuff, like my coach has one. We're trying to get a few people to have so that we have options for that, but like I can just see a lot of gyms don't have that many options, and where like it's going to be hard to redo. It definitely favors people that have like maybe bigger groups of athletes going, and yeah, it's not easy to find people to have all of those. Like you're gonna have to like pay people to do their judges course, like pay the $50 for someone to do it. And like I said last time, like I just don't see the value of the other judge. Like you're just not gonna see the other judge like step in and stop the workout and be like saying stuff like you see on the floor. I think that course is good for, like it would be a good requirement for all of the semifinals to be like, hey, you want to volunteer at our events, go, you have to do this judges course, this advanced ones, or like any out of competition like Wadapalooza and stuff like that. But it's, I don't know, I think it's a hassle for nothing. Like if you're gonna have your video public anyways, you do it an affiliate, you have a judge that takes the advanced course and put your video. Like I don't know that you really need that secondary judge.
Floor judge and head judge have to be introduced on video.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I think happened. I'm just going to try to make sense of it. If you are a CrossFit Mayhem or you're a CrossFit Invictus, where you have tons of athletes going at the same time, it makes sense to have maybe 5 judges and 1 head judge, making sure that everybody in your gym is consistent. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a mom and pop affiliate with 50 members and 1 athlete made it, it makes no sense to put this burden on the affiliate to have an extra person available to judge. It makes absolutely no sense.
And it puts us at a disadvantage too. Like as like if you're the only one, like because I'm the only one from my affiliate that qualified, but like if you have a bunch of people, you probably have a bunch of people that have their other course, because they'll do it themselves, and then they can even have like their friends judge and be the backup or whatever. But if you're like the only one, like it's hard finding two. Like I want like 4 or 5 people to have their course, because I need option, maybe not for this weekend, but for the May 1st to 4th. Like I'm going to be redoing those workouts for sure. This weekend, maybe 1 redo for like the age group. But like I want options of people, and it's like I work full time, so like I can't, and other people work full time, so it's just like relying on them. Like I'm probably gonna have to pay people a bunch of money to come in and judge, whereas like it's just annoying because it's already $100 to do this, and then you have to do the courses, pay for other people to do the courses, make sure that they're available that weekend. Are they going to be available when you can or when you want to do it? Like it just, yeah.
I understand it does put a lot of heavy lifting on small affiliates. It's cool Jason Grubb is hosting Masters athletes, but obviously not everybody can do that.
And I agree with Helpin. Like the advanced judges course was like literally about the live in-person comps. What's your judge? What's your role all of that. Like, it's so irrelevant for an in-person online semi. It really is. Like, I wanted the advanced judges course to be like, here are previous semifinal or quarterfinal workouts. These are why they were no reps. Look at this. We looked at this angle. Don't film from this angle. Do like really practical stuff like that. Great reps of elite athletes moving, not an average athlete moving in the judges course like they have elite semifinal games athletes videos. And that should have been the advanced judges course, is the difference of not just knowing what good reps and bad reps are, but like, let's see it at the elite level and work on your eye of like having good and no reps. Like, I wanted that to be that, but it was mostly just relevant for in-person large events.
I don't know if you tuned in at all to our Tuesday show. We had Andrew Sten on and Jeffrey Birchfield, who have both judged at major events. And they were talking about how the AFJ had a seminar at Wadapalooza where they talked about those things, and they had elite athletes come in and do the movements so that they could see it at the elite athlete speed. Mm-hmm. I think that is what is essential in these judging courses. It's one thing to watch me do the movement at my snail pace compared to like Carolyn doing them at a pace. Extension is fast. Like, it is really fast for an elite athlete. And you need to see that in what it looks like in real live person to understand that. So I love that the AFJ is starting to do those seminars live and in person with judges.
Yeah,
but it
like
doesn't
that's great.
It doesn't solve this problem.
No, and it's not even like you just need your advanced course and your judges. You need to have your L1 as well. I'm lucky that I train at an affiliate, 1, and 2, we do a lot of hosting of level 1s and level 2s. So like, we do have a lot of the coaches that have level 1s and level 2s. Mostly all of them are level 2s. Just because like we host a lot of them. But it's also like the level 1 that is hard to get from people. Like, I bet I could have gotten a few judges at like my gym to go and take the advanced course, because a lot of them took their regular judges course for the open to help out. But you need the level 1 as well. Like, it's just, there's so many requirements for those 2 judges, and it just makes it difficult. And it's like, it's annoying as an athlete to have to do all of this, because you know that other people have everything figured out for them and they can redo basically whenever they're going to have 2 judges at the gym and they get everything for them. But like, for a lot of athletes, like, we might not be able to redo the workouts like other people can.
Holly says, as much as I like helping out judging locally, I just can't justify the L1 cost. Well, the good news is, if you did the open, you got a coupon for, was it 20 or 30% off your L1?
Not sure.
I think. We talked about that on Tuesday too. Andrew brought it up. And I did double check. It was there, but still it is a lot of money. Like, even at like 30% off, that's $700. You got to plop down to get an L1 just to judge an athlete or 2 in your affiliate. If you have no plans on coaching, and don't get me wrong, the L1 is an amazing course, but some people are really tight on money, and that isn't something that they can prioritize at this point in time in their life.
Yeah, because I'm reading my email that I got. It says both judges must have the following credentials: current L1, judges course, advanced judges course. Like, it just is like, I get one maybe needing an L1, but again, I don't even think, I don't see how an L1 even does anything to help you be a good judge. Like, it has nothing to do with being a good judge. It's just having an L1, and that, I mean, I guess that's fine. It's your rules, but it's just stupid.
Fluffy Fit says 700 US as a Canadian. That's a no-go.
Yeah, that's like friggin' 1,000 something.
Yeah. So that's what makes me annoyed. They're making the semis out of reach for the regular athlete. I do not disagree with you, Denise. I think they overcorrected.
Especially if the videos are public. Like, it's not like we're like the videos are unlisted and then they're going to be asking for one or two. Like, your videos are public as well. What is the need of the second judge? What is the need of the second judge? Your video is public. Who cares about the second judge? Honestly, at this point, who cares about the first judge? If we're going off the video, like scores and thumbs up, thumbs down, you wouldn't even need to go have a judge, really. Like, that's just like you should, but like,
I'm okay with the advanced judges course, and I love the public video for a week. Those are the steps they needed to take. They did not need to add a head judge to this. It just didn't need to happen. Halpin says, especially as all these age group athletes have done online video semis for years, they have a year where there are issues in quarterfinals for individuals, and now age groups have to do the higher standard. Well, I think that there have been these issues in the age groups as well. It's just not as publicly known because it doesn't get the attention that the elites get. I do like the public video. That, I think, would change a lot. That alone is going to correct many of the issues.
When you submit your video, do you need to have it, like, does my YouTube link need to be public, or can it still be unlisted, but it's in the, like, because I'm posting my video goes, like, it already goes up as the video anyways. Like, when I submit my scores, if I'm not an affiliate and I put my video normally as unlisted, my video normally pops up for people to judge.
Yeah, that's a detail I am not aware. I would be guessing if I answered that. I would play it safe and say, make it public.
Yeah. I will, but I'm just saying.
Andrew says it must be public, cannot be private or unlisted.
Got it.
And Denise echoed that same point. So the way it works is after this weekend's over, the top 30 men and women from ages 35 to 59 will go on to the CrossFit Games. The 20 men and women, if you're in your 60s, will be going on to the CrossFit Games. And if you're 70 plus, it's 10 and 10.
And they still haven't announced anything in terms of prize purse for masters and stuff like that. So I'm curious if they would, like, especially with the increase in price to $100 from what the quarterfinals were. I guess for the masters, they had a quarter and a semis, so that's why it's probably 100. But and I guess same with us, but yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But does any of that money go towards who hosts? Is it Legends or Mass? I can't figure out which one it is.
Legends.
Like, do they get some of that money for hosting?
See, that's what I said last week. I think that the prize purse is based on the open registrations. Why isn't the semifinal money going to the people putting on that show too? And maybe some of that added to the prize purse. But because it's based on percentage, I think it's definitely going to be smaller than last year. And maybe they keep the same formula, but based on the new total pot of money. I don't know. They should publish that though. So can't wait for a lot of people. Lynn is saying they're so excited for you, Carolyn, doing your first masters. Yeah. I'm stoked. If my two co-hosts win the games this year, it'll be awesome. We'll have a big party.
We'll work on it.
Dawn Fall appeared on the CrossFit podcast.
I missed it.
So I have The new CrossFit podcast with Denise Thomas, I've really enjoyed a lot. I think it's been great. I can't wait till we get somebody that she doesn't know intimately on the show. Because right now she just knows everybody so well, and that's going to be comfortable for her. But I think she's going to be even better when she gets people where she tries to dive in and learn. But Dawn was on. It was the best I've seen him look in well over a year. It was a controlled environment. I mean, they own the podcast, so I'm sure they could frame up some of the stuff that he was going to be hit with. He looked more relaxed. He did address the lower numbers for the open, said that knew they were going to face the lower numbers, that media and the team have killed it to start telling the story again. But he did not address anything about the sale, really, other than that they put it up for sale, and just reiterated what he had said to the affiliate town hall a couple weeks ago. And I have to agree with him. The media team has picked up big time. That reel they put out earlier this week with the teen athletes and then flashing forward to where they are today, like of Dallin and James and Alexis and Haley, that was awesome. And then they put out a YouTube short documentary about a guy getting his L1 that was awesome this week. Like, they are actually putting out content over the past few months, which is really refreshing to see that they're getting back into telling the story again. From all
and like the content on Instagram has been like entertaining too. And they're poking fun at some of the athletes and the rivalries that there are. And I think they're doing a really good job on Instagram. I haven't seen if they're utilizing YouTube as much as they were maybe a few months ago when they were popping up like a bunch of library movements.
Not as frequently, but
Yeah.
they're still putting some stuff out.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job.
So, and he talks about that. Most of the podcast is getting to know him as a person, not really him as the CEO of the company. And it was fine getting to know him. But I think there are a lot of questions that people kind of wanted to dive into, and I think they hit it kind of surface level. But honestly, I didn't expect much more than that, just because of the controlled environment that it was in. Couple other quick hit news things. Actually, just one more. Justin unveiled his pink hair.
Oh my gosh.
I was amazed that he did everything.
The eyebrows, the goatee, like everything is so nasty, but it's so good.
I said,
and it's when it's like sweaty too. Like, did he put gel in it too? Like, is that just how it sits?
He said he put it in, and then everything he touched turned pink. Like, he didn't realize his face touched the wall ball when he did wall balls. And when he was done, there was like a big pink patch where his goatee was. So I thought it was, I like this new Justin that's being more open about who he is and very self-deprecating and being okay with this stuff. I think that makes him way more likable than he was over the last couple of years.
I've always liked Justin. I think he's always been likable to me. I think he's great on his podcast. He's the one that's running the show. Like, he interviews his friends very well. He keeps the conversation going. Like, yeah. I think he does a really good job with his YouTube channel for sure.
So when he broke out in 2020, I think everybody loved him. And then he won the games, and it was a lot really fast. And then he became guarded for a period of time. And now I think hooking up with Jason and Dallin and have made him much more loose and but still the same Justin. Like, I just think he's back to who he is. And I think it's going to show on the floor too.
Yeah, I think he's taken off the pressure off himself. I think when you win the games twice, and everyone's looking at you because, you know, Matt's won it 5 times and Rich won it 4 times. Are you going to do that too? And then it didn't happen. You know, that's a tough reality, right? Like those guys just like set like a huge,
Right.
you know,
It's a
like,
stupid expectation. Like,
yeah, like it's crazy. And the field is so deep now that it's just, you know, it's so hard. And I think that there were maybe a few years of, you know, self-doubt and did I win because Matt was, you know, like just, you know, those questions start going in your head, and then he wins it twice and it's like, okay, you know, I am good type thing. But it's hard to stay at the top. And it's nice to see, you know, him be happy in his podcast, and you can just see that he's in a better place, at least on social media. We don't know what goes on, you know, behind like videos and whatnot, but like the perception of his happiness, you know, is good. So I hope this is, you know, a revamp Justin, and he's gonna have a great year. I hope he has a great year anyways.
so this kind of reminds me about something, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow on Lunch with the Clydesdale, so I'll just preview it here. For years, everybody is saying that like CrossFit needs to have a show like Full Swing that Netflix has done with the PGA. I never watched Full Swing. Last night, I decided to try it. And I have a lot of thoughts now after watching it about one, it really reminded me of Road to the Games. Like, I think CrossFit has done this before. This just has a few tweaks and a few little differences that make it just a little bit better. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow on the Lunch with the Clydesdale show, comparing and contrasting the two, and why, and we could do this. There's enough third-party media that this could be done without Netflix for now, and just do it. But just a little preview, like they show people in that mental space that they're struggling and trying to get out of it. And I ask all of you and the viewers and whatever, has CrossFit ever done that? And the only thing that came to mind for me, and I think it was 2016, Road to the Games with Josh Bridges and Brooke Entz, when they both didn't qualify for the games. And it kind of spun out at that West Regional that year. And it was great content. And not because they didn't make it, but Josh ends up coming back and making it again. Right? Like, and that means more when you've seen the struggle beforehand.
Yeah, we don't see enough struggle of the athletes though, like in general, like on their social media. Like it's always made lifts, like here and there, some misses, but you know, everyone keeps their injuries nice and close to their heart, and other struggles a lot of times. So it would be nice to go like a deeper dive into, you know, the athletes and their training, even their training sessions, and you know, the misses that happen, and just like the reality of what a day-to-day is. Because like people do their like a day in the life up, but it's like their highlight stuff all the time.
So Lynn is pretty much, this is what's going to happen tomorrow on the show. I don't know if the athletes would be willing to show that vulnerability. CrossFit is very PC. But I think that you get people that want to root for you when they see that you've overcome this stuff. And I think that's, and we've seen people be vulnerable, like Emma coming out and saying that she was struggling last season, like Mal taking a step away, like Haley taking a step away. I think Haley is just as popular, if not more, after admitting the struggles she had than before. Now, if she goes on to podium at the games or win the games, that story is going to mean so much more. But
I guess I want to like see the struggle, like it's one thing to talk about it and
That's
be
what
like,
full swing
I was
does.
struggling this. Like, I want to like see your session. See, is that sad? Is that bad? Like, I want to see you like cry or miss or throw something or like get angered, like out, like, but like versus talking about it. Like, I just want to see what it looks like but you won't. People won't get to that point.
That's what full swing does.
Like they'll just they'll talk about it, but we don't see it as much. It's tough to get to that point, right? To allow cameras to see that or to be like okay with it, posting it.
So like Brooks Koepka was the best golfer in the world from 2017 to 2019. Mm-hmm. He goes on it. He's at the Masters, and the first 9 holes, he's killing it. Misses a putt, and then he completely unravels because his confidence has been shot from the 2 years after 2019. Like, and you see it all break apart live at the Masters. So when he comes back and he's great again, it just is a better story. So anyway, Andrew Hiller, I think you will like Jason's video. Cool. I am looking forward to it. Yeah. That's
what about me? Am I not gonna like it, Andrew? Just what the heck?
We did that one year where we followed athletes from the Open to the games. We just couldn't do it video wise. Like I couldn't be there all the time. I don't have the budget that Netflix has, or and I'm glad people like Hiller are going out and doing like the 48 hours or the week with. I think that's what this space needs.
Yeah, those have been really good.
So Carolyn will hate it. All right, guys. Well, as always, it's been a blast hanging out with you tonight. Our 90 minutes is up, and I got to get up and go to work in the morning.
Same.
So with that, thank you, everybody, for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you listen to us on those audio platforms, leave us a 5-star review. Tell us what you like about the show. And with that, we'll have lunch with the Clydesdale all week long, and tomorrow will be a comparison of full swing to Road to the Games and the stuff that Hiller's doing and all the other stuff behind the scenes stuff that's been done before. We're going to compare all that to see maybe we can get this ball rolling in the right direction somehow. And if it takes third party to do that instead of CrossFit, maybe that's what it takes. But with that, thank you, everybody. And we'll see everybody next time on Sunday night CrossFit Talk. Bye, guys.